Welcome to today's session, which is our fourth session. From where we started, I would like to start by apologizing. We have had challenges to connect where network is concerned, but at least now we thank God we have been able to connect so far. So I'll start by giving a recap from where we ended last week of what we had last week. As you remember, we are talking about how to develop your product, market it, and be able to take it to the market. So basically, we have been starting, of course, with our slogans, and as such, we will again today go back to our slogan. In fact, we have had two so far. The first slogan we have been saying, do you own value to be exchanged for value in the marketplace? I have changed it, of course, so that we personalize it. Do I own value to be exchanged for value in the marketplace? And the slogan goes on by saying, I need to possess value to exchange it for value in the marketplace. And then the next slogan is, do I want to be wealthy on earth? If I want to be wealthy here on earth, I have to own a product, own the marketing, own the sales, and own the profits. I've been saying that is a slogan created by me, Simon Mbui Kayekes. So the other point we talked about is that you need to become a business owner, becoming a business owner. What we are discussing about product development and you are marketing that product, and being able to sell that product is basically an aspect of you and I becoming business owners. And also we have said that we have to move from product development to putting money into your pocket. And basically we have the product development, product marketing, and product sales. That is the product trinity. And for those of you who were with me at the very beginning, we started by looking at this as being the first, the how to develop your product, market it, and then be able to sell it. The number one component we said we need to use is God is heaven, earth, what I've called God is heaven, earth, creation trinity for your product development, marketing, and sales. As for those of you who are on Zoom, who are able to see the screen, that is, we have wisdom, which gives you understanding, wisdom which give which connects us to building. Wisdom is used for building, understanding for establishing, and then knowledge for filling and populating your house. We said this is what God used to create the heavens and the earth, and then make divisions in the earth. And that is according to Proverbs chapter 3, verse 19 to 20. And then we went to the employer's business house and business outcome trinity for business success, developing it from the way God was able to put what we see and what we don't see in place, that he used wisdom for building, understanding for establishing, and knowledge for filling and populating the earth and making all the divisions he made. the things that we admire. We are therefore told in Proverbs chapter 24, verse 3 to 5, that by wisdom a house is built. The same ingredients God used. We are told a house is built by wisdom, and through understanding, a house is established. Through knowledge, a house has rare and precious treasures. And so in this case, we are applying that house to a business house because we are discussing business. So if you want a successful business house, what you need to do is use the 3 ingredients God was able to use. Wisdom for building your business house, understanding for establishing your business house, and then knowledge for filling and populating your business house. And it is on knowledge where I've been talking about an equation that now I believe you should be very familiar. The equation that knowledge brings about is coming from verse 4, Proverbs chapter 24. It says through knowledge, a business house, which I'm applying. The Bible doesn't say a business house. I'm the one who is saying the business house. Through knowledge, a business house has rare and precious treasures. And from that, I've come up with an equation which I'm saying you should be already familiar that reality plus preciousness is equal to value, which is equal to worth, which is equal to wealth. And so it is at an aspect of you and I being able to produce value where people can be able to ask us the big market question, how much? And then the second, the second aspect we talked about, especially I think that was in the second session, is that you need to know the 2 sides of the why of the product development, marketing and sales with regard to benefits. And we have the 2 big product benefit questions. On one hand, we are saying, what are the perceived benefits to me as the producer of the product? And also on the other hand, we are saying, what are the perceived benefits to the consumers and buyers of the product? Again, like I've been indicating that I'm not just talking about product development without me having a product. Today, I am displaying a product that you might have not seen on this sharing. My other product is the secret for marriage success, making the heaven in mathematics 1 + 1 is equal to a reality in your marriage. So basically, when writing this, I had to, and going into developing this and packaging it the way I've packaged it, is to ask myself, what are the perceived benefits to the consumers or buyers of this product? In this case, I am addressing the issue of marriage and how that for your marriage to be successful, you need the heaven in mathematics, which is from Genesis chapter 2, verse 22. That God is, that verse is saying, for this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the 2 shall become 1. So I have to ask myself, what are the perceived benefits to the consumers or buyers of this product on marriage? And then on the left-hand side, I have to say, what are the perceived benefits to me as the producer of this product called the secret for marriage success? In the past, I've been talking about the other product, the employer in you. Series 1, repositioning yourself from having an employee mind to having an employer mind. So this is what we did as the second aspect. And then, which is coined by the fact that you need to know the benefits to yourself and to the customers. And then the third point that we looked at in the third session was know why you should develop, market, and sell a product or a service. And I introduced what I called the love your neighbor as you love yourself principle. That is basically about offering value to the market and to yourself. And of course, we talked about this point, the product benefit trinity, where we emphasize the fact that you have to focus on the impact or the results or the outcomes. These are at the same level. And I think this is where we ended the other time when we had met during the third session. Now I would like to take you further from where we had ended in terms of in what I've come to call the impact output input business approach at product design stage. For those of you again who are on Zoom, you are able to see that picture. For those of you on Facebook, I'll need to give an explanation like I did the other time. On my left-hand side, I have what is called product impact. And like I've said, impacts or outcomes or results are at the same level. That is on the left-hand side. So then we are moving from at design level or at planning level. We are moving from the left to the right. You remember I talked about Isaiah 46 verse 10, where I said that the Bible says the God sees the end from the beginning. And I've been saying that God does things the way the chokwe would speak. And the chokwe, instead of saying, I am going to school, the chokwe would rather say, to school I am going. They would say it in the chokwe and say, kushiko langu nai. So they start with the destination. And then they start with the destination and then they do things backwards compared to the way but the other languages, like in my language, we simply say, I'm going to school. So basically on the left-hand side, we have the product impact outcomes or product impact or outcomes or results on the left. This is the point I emphasized the last time, that please make sure you emphasize, you start with this point. Don't start going to look for inputs. In this case, when it comes to business, people will be talking about a lack of capital, looking for capital, and so on. No, don't start from that. Although ultimately, yes, those things will be required. What you need to do is start from the left and moving your arrow. If you have a pen with you, then you put a circle or a whatever, a square or a rectangle on your left, and there write product impact stroke outcomes stroke results. And then on your right, from the product impact outcomes results, on your right hand side, write product output. And further right, you write what? Inputs. So then you draw an arrow from the left, like in my case, from my left to the right. This is how God does things. According to Isaiah 46 verse 10, he sees the end from the beginning. So focus on the end, the product impact outcomes and results. This is the end aspect of whatever you are doing, whether it is business or anything that you are doing. But in this case, we are talking about business. So then from there now, when it comes, this is at product design or planning stage. Now, when it comes to implementation stage, you now change the arrow. The arrow, instead of it pointing this side, it now needs to do what? To point this side. This is now at implementation. At planning level, you are moving from your left to the right. You see your vision. It's product impact, product outcomes, which is your vision. For example, Habakkuk 2 verse 2 says, write down the vision, make it clear, so that he who reads may be able to run with that vision. That vision is at product impact. it's at product outcomes and product results. And then from there now you go into implementation like I have explained. So then for those of you on Zoom, you can see the diagram on the impact, output, input business approach at production, marketing, and sales stage. At sales stage now, you are now at implementation or production. Okay, that is at implementation. You are now going into producing. You are now going into the actual marketing and sales. In that case, therefore, you start from inputs because you already defined your process at the very beginning where we're saying you start from the left going to the right. Now, at production or implementation level, you start from inputs, then now you go to what? Product output, and from product output, you go to what? Product impact or outcomes or results. The thing that you had perceived, which is your vision. You remember the Bible in Proverbs 29 verse 18 saying, without vision, people do what? Without vision, people perish. So then this is your vision. It means this is what you had seen at the very beginning, and then finally you have achieved that, and that is what gives you what we are calling business success. So basically, again, we had I think emphasized the fact that you need to know to know your benefits, understand the profit equation, and the profit is equal to revenue minus cost. Again, this is at a planning level, and basically we are saying your biggest job is ultimately selling for profit. I've written this aspect where I'm saying if you throughout fail to sell for profit, you become a fool, as implied in the Bible in Ecclesiastes 10 verse 15, where I'm saying throughout failing to sell for profit is that when you start every form of business, because you are investing, you will be able to be incurring losses. But I think that should not be a permanent situation. You need to reach a stage where you'll be able to reach a break even where your profit will be equal to zero. That is where you are moving from your negative, and then now you start moving on the positive side, where you'll be able to make profits. So if you throughout fail to sell for profit, you become a fool. So please be wise, and your wisdom will be seen in you going into business basically for profit. So now we can go a step further and talk about the fourth point on the how to engage in product development, product marketing, and product sales. So what it is basically that, and that's number 4. Value your value. You need to value your value. Value your value. You need to value your value. Don't devalue your value. Value your value highly. I think to illustrate this point, I remember visiting one colleague, and in fact there were 2 of them, and I was able to chat for them for a period of about 2 hours. And little did I know that I had influenced, especially one of them, who later came to give me feedback. I told the 2 to say, you need to value your value. You need to value your value. Now, what do I mean? Your value might be of high value, but because of your mindset, because of the way you think, you may end up devaluing devaluing yourself. A good illustration, like for this colleague I was talking to, was that I came to learn that this friend has been into book writing, and then he spends a lot of time into book writing, and at the end of the day, gets his book, takes it to the publishers, and then the publishers say, we are going to pay you something like a 6%. 6% of your value. I think I even said this earlier on, 6%. And then the publisher gets what? Gets 94%. Or in some cases, some would even end up giving the book writers a 4%. Now, up to now, I don't understand why a person can invest all the time, put in the intellectual property, his name is on the book, and then the person ends up agreeing to being given a 6% or a 4%. I think for me, that means that such a person has devalued his value. He has not valued his value highly. It is at a point of sharing, as you are undertaking your product from development up to sales. Of course, you will need to share with people, and that sharing amounts to costs. And at the end of the day, even your profits at a given point, you might end up sharing with some people who, at the end of the day, turn out to be your partners. But you can't afford to develop a product and then at the end of the day, agree to get 96%, and then the person who is just coming in at a very secondary level ends up getting 94%. What that simply means is that 6% for you, that is the one that you even have to pay for costs when you come to the equation. Profit is equal to revenue minus cost. And also this, one of these friends I talked to, he also engages himself into consultants. And they had never known that actually at a given point, he could even charge as much as 50,000 for the consultants that he does. But thank God, after I talked to him, he came later to talk to me that you are now my mentor. Because after we talked, he went and he was able to value his value higher than he used to value it. And he told me to say, for the very first time, something I've never done before, I ended up going to clinch for a 50,000. And when those people agreed, I remembered your statement that you need to value your value. So please, in product development, and then you go to marketing, and in particular at a point of sale, and even after you do the sales, when it comes to the actual sharing, what is your share of the process that you have gone through from product development to marketing and to sales? You should be saying, what is my share out of this? You should not forget about your value, that your product is of high value, and at the end of the day, when you put a price on it, when you recoup the sales, please never be like, again, I like using the Chokwe saying, they say, kasumbi keshi ni meso, etusandra kwao, meaning a chicken without eyes scratches for others. Please don't be a chicken without eyes, a blind chicken. That chicken is alive, very busy. It does the scratching for food, but it doesn't have the capacity to see the food and eat the food the way it is supposed to eat. Others with eyes end up coming to enjoy the proceeds from the chicken without eyes is scratching. So basically, the market pays you for value, and please don't devalue your value. And then we can talk about the fourth point within the remaining time, and then we will emphasize it more when we come to the next sharing. The fourth point on how to develop, market, and then sell your product to the marketplace is the fact that you have to aim for product sales as the ultimate. This is similar to what I was talking about. But then the difference is that here you sell, yes. Even if you sell and then you end up getting a 4% like I illustrated, then I think your selling is basically questionable because you have not valued your value. But ultimately, you have to look at product sales as your ultimate. So why aim for product sales as the ultimate? Why should you aim for product sales as your ultimate? Okay, so you have to aim for product sales as your ultimate because it answers the why develop a product. Okay, you remember where we are coming from. Why should you develop a product? Because you want to ultimately have it sold. And of course, sold for profit so that you get a benefit. But also at the same time, you want to have it sold so that the other person, using the love your neighbor as you love yourself principle, so that the other person can be able to the other person can be able to benefit from your product. So I think we should now be familiar with this slogan, which we shall continue with through and through, where we are saying the market owes you the big market question. And that big market question is the question, how much? And so this is where we are saying, let the market ask you the big market question, how much? How much? How much? And then you owe the market, the big market answer, and the big market answer is my product is worth this much. So please, before you go into product development, marketing, and sales, you need to focus on the fact that you have to make sure you make a sale. I've said it previously that without you being able to sell a product, it doesn't matter how good your product could be. If you can't sell it, in fact, before you sell it, if you can't market it, like I said the other time, conquer the monster called marketing. If you can't market your product, that is your product being connected with your consumers or your buyers or your customers, then you can end up sleeping hungry, even when your product is so good. So then your job is to make sure that you go into marketing, and then from there, marketing is what will determine you connecting with the customers so that they can be able to ask you the big market question. That big market question is the question, how much? So somebody called Douglas Kruger, you may find him on YouTube. He has said, he or she who owns the selling becomes rich. He or she who owns the selling becomes rich. So please, this is the emphasis. Before you go into product development, you need to own the selling. He or she who owns the selling becomes rich. Do you want to become rich? I think, like we have said from our slogan area there, you need to do what? On the product, on the product, on the marketing, on the what? On the sales, and on the profits, on the products, on the sales, and on the profits. So basically, that's that for today. on he who owns the on the prophets. That is the most important thing. On the what? On the product, on the marketing, on the sales, and on the profits. Because you are going into business for profit making. Otherwise, you could just be doing business. And if you are going into business just as a hobby, well and fine. But if you are going into business for a profit, please on the profits. Thank you for now. God bless you. Yeah, I think within the time that I have, I'm remaining with how many minutes? 3 minutes. If you have any intervention, I think you can intervene, and then for now, we may not go into the second session. You can be able to intervene within the 3 minutes. Who is there to intervene? You can raise your hand if you are there to intervene. Or maybe our 3 minutes is too short. I think let's reconnect and then start with you. Let's reconnect in order for us to be able to ask our questions properly. Let's reconnect. We now are stopping so that you can be able to reconnect. Thank you.